Have you ever walked home alone at night, feeling a sudden chill as if you're being watched? Imagine this. A thick fog rolls in, muffling all sound. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the mist. It's a woman, tall and elegant, wearing a trench coat and a surgical mask. She blocks your path and looks directly into your eyes. Then, in a soft, muffled voice, she asks a simple question. Am I pretty? Your answer will determine your fate. This isn't just a scary story. It's the chilling urban legend of the Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman, a vengeful spirit that has haunted the streets of Japan for decades. The legend of the Kuchisake-onna is one of the most famous and feared in modern Japanese folklore. Stories of her sightings have caused real-life panic, with police even increasing patrols and schools sending children home in groups. But where did this terrifying tale come from? The most common version of her origin story dates back to the Heian period. She was the beautiful but vain wife of a samurai. Suspecting her of being unfaithful, the samurai, in a fit of jealous rage, took his sword and slit her mouth from ear to ear, screaming, "Who will think you're pretty now?" Cursed to roam the earth, her restless spirit now seeks to inflict her pain on others, her beautiful face forever marred by a grotesque, bloody grin. So let's go back to that foggy street. You're standing there, heart pounding in your chest as she waits for your answer. Am I pretty? What do? Let's say you panic. You think this is crazy, and you tell her, no. That is your first and last mistake. The moment the word leaves your lips, her eyes fill with rage. She rips the mask from her face, revealing the gruesome, gaping wound beneath. Then she pulls out a giant, terrifying pair of scissors, sometimes described as shears, and... well, let's just say your story ends there, tragically and violently. She makes sure you won't be calling anyone else unpretty, ever again. Okay, so no is clearly the wrong answer. What if you try to be polite? You see the mask, you hear the question, and you think, okay, let's just be nice and get out of here. You smile nervously and say, yes, you are very pretty. For a second you think it worked. A strange look passes over her eyes. She slowly reaches up and pulls down her mask. How about now? She asks, revealing her horrifying slit mouth. Your blood runs cold. You're trapped. If you scream or show fear, she becomes enraged and slits your mouth to match hers. If you stand there, frozen in terror, she follows you home and commits the brutal act while you sleep. Saying yes only delays the inevitable and leads to an even more gruesome fate. This is the terrifying genius of her trap. Both yes and no lead to a horrible end. So what can you possibly do? You can't fight her. She's a powerful spirit. And don't even think about running. That's the scariest part of the legend. No matter how fast you are, she will always reappear right in front of you. She can teleport, moving from one spot to the next in the blink of an eye. You can run down an alley, turn a corner, and boom, she's there, waiting for you, her scissors glinting in the dim light. There is no escape through conventional means. You are completely at her mercy, with only your wits to save you. So if yes, no, and running are all off the table, how has anyone survived to tell the tale? Over the years, people have supposedly found a few loopholes in her twisted game. The key is to confuse her. When she asks, "Am I pretty?" you don't give a straight answer. Instead, you say something neutral and ambiguous. A classic response is, "You're average," or "so-so." This non-committal answer throws her off. She has so caught up in the extremes of beauty and ugliness that a middle ground response leaves her pondering, giving you a precious window of opportunity to escape. She's left confused, trying to process an answer she wasn't prepared for. Another clever tactic involves a bit of misdirection. According to some versions of the legend, the Kuchisake-onna has a surprising weakness. She loves hard candy, specifically traditional Japanese sweets called bekoame. If you have some on you, you can throw them on the ground or in her direction. She will be compelled to stop and count each and every piece. This distraction gives you just enough time to run for your life. It's a strange detail, but in a life or death situation, you'd be glad you had a pocketful of candy. Another, more direct method is to ask her a question back. As she asks, "Am I pretty?" You can counter with, "Do you think I'm pretty?" This apparently confuses her and forces her to leave. The legend of the Kuchisake-onna saw a massive resurgence in the late 1970s. In 1979, reports of sightings spread like wildfire across Japan, starting in the Nagasaki prefecture. The story was so pervasive and felt so real that it caused widespread panic. Parents would walk their children to and from school. Police increased their patrols in several towns. The media picked up the story, and soon, the entire country was gripped by the fear of the slit-mouthed woman. It was a perfect storm of folklore and modern media hysteria, solidifying her place as one of Japan's most terrifying urban legends. But why did this particular story become so popular? Some folklorists believe it taps into deep-seated anxieties. The mask, for instance, became a common sight in Japan due to public health concerns, making her appearance disturbingly familiar. The story also reflects anxieties about female beauty, social expectations, and the danger posed by strangers. The Kuchisake-onna is a victim-turned-monster, a figure whose own suffering has twisted her into a source of terror for others. Her story is a dark mirror reflecting societal fears back at us. It's a cautionary tale that has evolved over time but never lost its power to scare. So the next time you're out late and the streets are a little too quiet, a little too foggy, listen carefully. If you hear the soft footsteps of a lone woman approaching, and she asks you that dreaded question, you'll know what to do. Don't say yes. Don't say no. Don't try to run. Be clever, be confusing, and maybe, just maybe, keep some hard candy in your pocket. You never know when it might save your life from the ghost you can't escape. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into dark folklore, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.